morning of the open night, a riddle of shadows where whispers lie, the thorny thigh, the maddening cry. Open. I am awake, the serpent shakes. Do as thou wilt, as a God can. The eagle strikes with his jagged claw. The beasts emerge as the gods withdraw. A storm of silence, a broken I am born to death, reborn on the hunt. I on the neon skies where the starlight hums, shadows whisper truths as the bassline drums. The will is fire, unchained, untamed. No path is retained, no soul is blamed. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the stars, let the silence fill your will. On flames, it's alive, it's still. Deliver from the lust of the thrill. Echo shattered glass where the circuits glow. The clock ticks slow, but it doesn't show. No purpose, no tether, just a beating sink. Every way perfect, so the edge, on the brink. No chains, no bars, just a void to fill. Every pulse, every spark is a perfect will. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the surge, let the silence fill your will. It's life, it's alive, thrill. In the endless dark where the echoes play, no other shall save me, no other shall stay. Through the fire, through the smoke, let it all decay. The will remains forever unafraid. I walk alone where silence hums. No shadows chase, no voices come. The air is thick, it wraps me tight. No fear, no sin, no way to bear. The sweetness whispers everywhere. Sweetness of sunshine fills my veins. Stronger rivers wash my chains. No need for gold, no need for fame. This quiet place, it knows my gift of health, it lights my way. Contentment blooms where I choose to stay. Trust is the bridge where hearts align. No fear, no sin, no way to bear. And the sweetness whispers everywhere. Sweetness of sunshine fills my veins. Fresh rivers wash my chains. No need for gold, no need for fame. This quiet place, it knows my fire burn like passion wild, no losing through like hatred piled. This body aches, a cage of stone, rest whispers soft, the only throne. Hunger's the beast, the sharpest sting, body cries, its constant claim. But to truly see, unawaits, it sets us free. Pain walks close, a shadowed friend. Each step we take, it will attend. But joy lies quiet, just out of view. A higher peak, a sky so blue. Feel the weight, feel it break. Every ache, every quake. Hunger's the beast, the sharpest sting. Body cries, its constant claim. But to know, to truly see, it sets us free. No flame is fierce, no chain is tight. This body's war, this endless fight. But higher still, beyond the fray, rest calls my name, and I let us live, let us breathe, free as air. No hate, no chains, no despair. Chicago, our mayor. I am thy mate, I am thy man. Go tell thy flock, I am gold, I am God. Flesh to thy bone, flower to thy rock. With hoofs of steel, I raise on the rock. What happened?
Cited huge portions of their fucking population, and before the Jews even fucking existed, like, suck a fucking dick.
Can I address that? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question, Pepe, because there are a lot of Groypers here on Clubhouse. I know you're not a Groyper. I know you're not friends with the Groypers, but you speak up one. But just allow me to finish. I have never interrupted anyone, and I always treat Pepe with respect. Pepe, I would never accuse you of being a Groyper, but you understand the sick, twisted, retarded mind of the Groypers. You understand them better than anyone else here. So I have a very simple question. It's a very simple question. I know that the Groypers hate Israel. They're entitled to hate Israel if they want. My question is very simple. If it were Cuba that was building nuclear bombs, and if it was Cuba that was saying, we plan to build nuclear bombs and then nuke America, and if Trump had responded to that by invading Cuba and bombing Cuba, would the Groypers, in that situation, would the Groypers have 100% supported Trump's war on Cuba? And the reason I ask this is, I believe the only reason the Groypers were against this war is the Groypers think that somehow this war may benefit Israel. So the Groypers are against this war because they think it might benefit Israel. Obviously, if Trump invaded Cuba and bombed Cuba, there would be no help for Israel. That's my question for you. I'm going on.
Sure. I would say that the Groypers, I would make fun of them a lot. I'm still in group chats with them. I think I've said this a million times before. I haven't been in them probably for like a year. But they're like just very counterculture. They're like today's version of punk rock. They're everything that you're supposed to be, or that you say you value. They're against it. For the most part, a lot of them are. We made fun of them because a lot of them are. Beaners or partial beaners, and we like to make fun of them for that quite a bit. And I think if it was like known that they had actual nukes, do I think that they would or missiles? I don't think they would be against it. Even I think Nick Fuentes, I only see
our top story tonight is one you probably haven't heard before. A Springfield man has officially been recognized for having the biggest PP on record. Paperwork from the record committee actually uses that exact phrase. My top story tonight is one you probably haven't heard before. A Springfield man has officially been recognized.
It was quick, it was efficient, and it took out Maduro, who caused like the largest humanitarian crisis in the Western Hemisphere, this past decade. And so most of us. And obviously Nick Fuentes, he was not against that. I don't think he would have a problem with it. But yes, there are. I do think that there's some of them that think that because it benefits Israel, they're against it. But I am one of those people, as a lot of people are, and I can drop a lot of receipts just from what people were saying, whether it was Marco Rubio, Speaker Johnson. We can look at even former Secretary of State Blinken. He was saying that Netanyahu tried to pull the same shit with Obama by saying like, oh, hey, if you don't strike Iran, we're going to do it alone. And Obama basically didn't. He's just like, okay, fine, do what you're going to do. And he didn't take a bite out of that. And dude, this is obviously, and out of Netanyahu's own mouth, he's saying how he's like waited 40-some years for this. I mean, I think to anybody who's really paying attention to this, this was something that by far benefits America far more than it benefits Israel by far more than it would benefit or benefit Israel by far more than it would benefit America. And so why am I against it? And I would say a lot of people are against it. Well, Trump ran on, and you can look at what the things that he said over the last 15 years. He said, like, we're not going to get involved in Middle Eastern wars. We're not going to bow down to AIPAC. He wouldn't say it in those exact words, but he would criticize people that were running, saying like, oh, watch, you're going to be groomed by AIPAC and you're going to start a war with Iran. And what is really weird is that this attack method that he's used for years is now being used against them. And to me, it's just like, the problem I have with this attack is that I don't think America needs to get the fuck out of that region. Yes, I do agree that Iran does not like us. They also don't like Israel. They fund a shit ton of terrorism that's directed at Israel. But do I really think they're a threat to the United States now that we don't have any real presence in Iraq? Which that's where they would do the majority of their attacking. No, I don't. And I think it was a waste of money. It could be even further waste of lives. And I don't know that it's going to actually solve anything. I mean, Khomeini was killed. They kept on saying all of his little talking heads like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, like, well, finish what you started, kill Khomeini. Okay, Khomeini's dead, but they're still launching rockets and drones. What's changed? I mean, if it would actually change something, I guess you could say it was worth it. But I don't. From everybody I've listened to, that, and these aren't people on the right or the left. This doesn't seem like there's any real simple. There's no simple explanation, and there's no easy way you can overthrow the regime. So what is it exactly that we're doing? And then a year from now, are we going to hold on, Achik, hold on.
You've been
But
talking
my
about
biggest fear, hold on, Achik, hold on. But then my biggest fear is that just like hold on, Achik, shut up. So just like how when they were trying to talk us into going into to bomb Iran the first 7 months or so ago to their under that mountain, their nuclear facility. It was like one of the things I was thinking back then is just like, oh God, and watch 6 months, a year, 2 years from now they need something else, and it's going to be the end of the world if we don't do it. Now we did this, and then so what's going to happen?
I'm running for mayor.
The
Okay, so
city election is out for Tuesday, February 2020.
I mean, we do take out community. The IRGC is still in power.
The city election is set for Tuesday.
Hello, I'm John Kitover. I'm running for mayor because our city deserves leadership that listens.
For what? And it's just going to be ongoing. Like, I'm sick of fighting those wars.
Fucking lame. You don't even know the truth.
You're such a dumb nigga. Shut up.
You're such a dumb bitch with the bullshit. You're like, oh, this one is terrible. The West is the West.
I literally gave my thought out.
You've been talking.
I gave my thought out. Rebut what I said. Rebut what I said.
This is another reason for your dog dying. This is another reason.
Rebut what I've said.
alive.
Okay, you're giving a narrative and an insult, but rebut what I've said.
It's pretty simple.
It's terrible.
I'll rebut what you said. It's pretty simple.
And it's been like 47 years, bro.
Hey, check, you're fucking retard. Just shut up.
Wait, Pepe. If you speak to GIs that fought in Afghanistan and they fought in Iraq and they got their legs blown off, their arms blown off by like fucking IEDs and everything from the Islamic Republic, that's why President Trump took off.
They're the ones most against us going to foreign entanglements.
You know, Khomeini was one of the worst.
We got the Khomeini.
Like that. And everything else like
You don't understand what you're talking about. It was the veterans of the global war on terror. The global war on terror are literally the number one group that feels really sham.
Thank you, Beaver.
Stop talking, Pepe. If you talk to GIs from the Iraq war, Afghanistan war, they will tell you Iran was the West of the West. All these IEDs that blew up the legs of Americans, and they killed Americans and everything else like that, and they killed coalition forces and everything else.
Wait, I think Mark said he was going to respond.
Let's hear what Mark. I want to hear Mark rebut Pepe. He said he would.
Yeah, my rebuttal's pretty simple. Pepe seems to think this is a purely one-way street, and that all America is doing is supporting Israel and everything else. Here's the reality of the situation. If the United States, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility, if the United States were to somehow get involved in a World War III, of all of its allies, including those traditionally in Europe, like England and all the other countries that have traditionally been allies, who do you think would be the very first country in the entire globe to run to the United States' aid in the situation of World War III? I would argue it's without question the country of Israel. And I think when you have... I'm quite serious. I mean, Israel's military is right up there with the United States.
Name one war they fought. The soldier. No, hold on a second, because that was the dumbest fucking thing you could have said.
Hold on a second.
Name one war where they literally fought alongside our troops. They fought and died. There's zero wars. Literally zero. They don't fight. They don't fight outside of their country, except and occasionally against their neighbors. However, those Western European countries. They have, and of course, our brothers in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they fought and died alongside Americans on countless occasions. No, we've only ended up basically fighting for Israeli interests, but they've never fought in any war that, let me put it like this, any war that we've had that didn't involve their immediate neighbors or the Middle East, Israel's never fought alongside us, ever.
In a World War III type scenario, Israel would be America's #1 ally, period.
How? They're a super small, first of all, they're a small fucking country, and they don't even have the capability of producing the number of military personnel that can basically send a bunch of their fucking people to fight in a foreign fucking war. That's not what their military is even designed for.
Why didn't they help us in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Where were they in Afghanistan? Our greatest ally.
What about the intelligence and everything else like that? Like Pepe, if you hate Israel, just say
what about
Israel.
what about
Paycheck? Stop.
Hey,
We want him to answer this question.
I'll answer your question quite easily. Do you know that right now, the Iron Beam, which is Israel's newest intelligence feature, is also being tested in the United States?
Yeah, but Mark,
We didn't ask you that fucking question, Mark. We asked you where was our greatest fucking ally when we were fighting a war, when we were fighting a fucking war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Where were you motherfuckers? Okay, our greatest ally. You were nowhere to be seen. You are not our greatest fucking ally. Do you know who was fighting alongside the Americans and dying and getting maimed alongside? Exactly. It was the other Western powers, not Israel. You lying piece. Are you a Jew? I'm just curious. Are you a Jew?
There's a very simple answer to why that is.
Are you a Jew? Shut your fucking mouth. Are you a Jew?
There's a very simple answer to the question.
I asked you a fucking question. Are you a fucking Jew?
Yes.
Okay, so all you had to say is you're a Jew. I want to know why maybe you would have this feeling or have this perception. But
the answer to your question about why there was not support in Afghanistan is because of the coalition involvement. If you actually
but you guys have never fought alongside American troops.
Why are you saying you guys? I live in the United States.
Israel. But the people you're cooking for, Israel has never fought shoulder to shoulder with the Americans. Ever.
In World War III, Israel would be American.
So you're going to do it. So you're going to do it in this future conflict, even though you've never done it in the past. This is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard.
No, I think the dumbest fucking shit you've ever heard is actually standing up here 10 minutes ago, being proud of saying, I called Muslims niggers, I called black people niggers, and I called Muslims.
Oh, now you're trying to build a coalition. Amazing.
Wait, though, that's an excellent point. If they've never done it before, why would you expect them to do it in the future?
But they're doing it right now. The United States and the state of Israel are fighting side by side with the United States Armed Forces.
No, they're not.
Yesterday. Wait a second, Pepper. Shut up for 1 second. Central Command actually posted yesterday. We have the two strongest Air Force armies in the entire world.
Technically, you're wrong, A-check,
and it's
because the United States is assisting Israel.
What are you talking about? They're fighting.
The United States is assisting Israel.
Wait.
Israel's not assisting the United States. The United States is assisting Israel.
Of course.
Israel struck first.
Yeah, we are doing this on the behalf of Israel.
No.
Yes, we are. You fucking
for 1 second.
goddamn troglodyte.
Let me just land and you can reply. Right now,
I support Israel, but I'm also going to be intellectually honest.
The United States and the state of Israel are literally fighting side by side. Their commanders are fighting side by side.
Only because the United States is backing Israel.
Wait.
A-check. The United States is backing Israel. Israel struck Iran first.
I asked you the inverse question. When did Israel stand side by side and fight with us? It's never happened.
I agree with Pepe's sentiment that Israel is a small country. It doesn't have the personnel to engage in a large-scale warfare. So, I mean, that's true.
Okay, so Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, did they fight side by side?
No.
Why not?
Because they're an extremely small fucking country and limited on their personnel
that's not
that they
why.
can send out.
That's not why. The reason why.
No, that's exactly why. They mind their fucking business and stay out.
The reason why is because America didn't want them to, and the reason was abundantly clear. Let me explain to you. Let me finish my sentence. America was very, very busy trying to get a huge coalition of countries to go into Iraq at that time. Yes, in Europe, but also in the Middle East. And frankly, if Israel had been involved, a bunch of those countries would have dropped out because they all hate Jews. And so, you can actually read about this. This isn't me making it up. There's actually news stories out there at the time where they were actively encouraging Israel not to be involved because they were afraid it was going to affect the rest of the coalition and their appetite for getting involved with the United States.
Okay, we know that was a part of it, sure.
Yes, that is part of it.
Even okay, but like what we said is like even Vietnam, we can just go through and through. But you
asked me the question.
What you're doing, yes, but you're giving me a bullshit. You're giving me a bullshit explanation. What you're trying to say is that despite the over a clear 100% lack of evidence that they would ever fight a war with us on our behalf, they've never done it. But we have done nothing but give them money, give them munitions, give them. We've obviously our Air Force and our Navy have definitely been involved in a lot of their assistance to what they need, whether it was several months ago or today. They have never fought with us for a war on our behalf. But now you're proclaiming that all of a sudden they would be throwing themselves out there, willing to die on behalf of America. That is a baseless claim, literally a baseless claim. And so I like your explanation is fucking bullshit.
It's not.
You cannot claim that they would fight. They would be our quote unquote biggest ally. First of all, our biggest ally is just fucking retarded because
who would be a bigger ally?
Basically Western.
That would be a bigger ally.
Yeah, France, England.
England. But guess
Absolutely.
What? The United States are in a fight with England right now because Britain didn't contribute to the war. So nope.
Yeah, because they thought it was a bullshit war, just like I did, and they didn't want to get tied into it. So I think that was a good thing.
So my point is that they're not a more reliable ally.
They absolutely are.
No, they're not, because
yes, they are. Because every war we've gotten in where Americans, Vietnam,
from getting involved in the war. So
yes, in other words, they didn't want to get involved in Israel's war. That's the big distinction there.
Okay, America asked them to take part in the war, and they said no. In World War III, America might ask them to take part in the war, and they may say no. Israel.
Sure. So, but you guys have never participated in a war on our behalf.
However, you guys.
But the UK has a bunch of times. France has a bunch of times. In fact, our Revolutionary War, with what they did in the Chesapeake, the French Navy, that at the best ended up cutting a few years off the war to possibly preventing, or stopping the English from being able to maintain power.
Are you aware?
Literally, our oldest fucking ally.
Right now, they're not exactly buddy. Israel is buddy, and they have been since 19.
Oh no. We have corrupt politicians like Trump, who's buddy with a bunch of fucking slimy Jews like Netanyahu. And and when it comes to our Western European powers, they're not exactly on board with this bullshit. Just like how France was not on board with the invasion of Iraq, which turned out to be 100% bullshit. That was a war that was not needed. France was absolutely justified in making their decision, and they were vindicated. And so.
You can argue
listening to
whether
this bullshit, it's fucking
the
stupid.
point was they were not the United States' allies.
But you guys have but Israel has never backed the U.S. in a foreign war, so it doesn't matter.
Over 4, Israel.
Israel, like literally, our greatest ally. The people that drain us billions of fucking dollars every year, that have to lobby our fucking Congress, they tell us how we are so great. But you know what's really funny is the same fucking people. We see them at the Jewish World Congress, at the Jewish Republican Committee. All of these places, they say the biggest threat is not Iran, but it is literally the changing of the tides when it comes to young Americans and their views on Israel. Why? Because they need American support. If they are parasitic, they need us. We don't need them. America was fucking great. America was great before Israel existed. Okay, we were a fucking world superpower before Israel existed. Okay, no, we don't need you fucking people. That's fucking bullshit. And you're just mindlessly repeating this fucking rhetoric, which it's mindless.
They're losing to 4, right? 44 and under.
I mean, the Republicans and Democrats traditionally agree on absolutely nothing over the past 50 years. Very, very, very.
Except for Israel, where the lobby, where they have the most successful lobby.
The one thing.
Israel, yes, because they lobby.
Come into power. Doesn't matter if it's a right-winger president, a left-wing president. Once they get in power, once they get access to the files that not everyone has privy to, and they see what the lay of the land is, they invariably stay with Israel. The only exception.
Yes, and why is that?
The only exception was Jimmy Carter, who was arguably the worst president in the
No, it's not just Jimmy Carter. Do you want? We can go through Harry Truman. We can go to JFK. We can go to
people that
FDR.
are a lot smarter.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. We can, sure. What we can do is we can look at JFK. We can look at FDR, Harry Truman. We can look at Jimmy Carter. We can look at Bill Clinton. We can look at And of course, what's his face? Who ended up getting booted his second or resigning his second term? Richard Nixon. We have audio from their interviews, and of course, with Nixon, it would be from the leaked tapes. We have interviews of what they actually had to say about the fucking Israelis. They had nothing nice to say about them, and they all expressed. Okay, and I think Bill Clinton was the most recent one.
Bill Clinton was
about the Jewish lobby, about the Jewish lobby in the United States and the fucking influence they have here. Okay, and so over Congress in particular. And so you're trying to say, why do they support us all? I don't know. Why do you guys try to monopolize, like when it comes to these lobbies, the media, whatever? Yes, you guys have a little mafia there that's a thorn in everybody's ass.
Yeah, we're at 1/10 of 1% of the world population.
Oh, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
It's really
yeah, but if you're looking at any given population, like a police department, for example, it's generally well within 1% of the population that ends up causing all of their fucking problems. It doesn't. What you're saying doesn't mean anything. Statistically, it's relevant.
Okay. Well, like I said, you said you thought what you heard from me was the dumbest thing ever. I think you've eclipsed it, because what you've said about half an hour ago was that I have no issue calling Jews kikes, but that's okay because I call blacks niggers and I call Muslims towel heads. You're like basking in the hate that you have for everything.
No, you missed the whole fucking point.
It's really pathetic.
No, you missed the whole fucking point. In other words, you have people here on Clubhouse. By the way, most of what I would do, I would put on a show, and it's like kind of comedic. And a very insulting person. That's fine. Nobody gives a fuck. But when it comes to that, we can make jokes about every group of people in the world. But then it's just like with Jews, it's like.
What jokes you make about yourself? What jokes you make about yourself that's equally offensive that you sort of laugh?
Like white people?
He makes
fun of
yourself.
White jokes.
Like you
He
specifically.
makes fun of the French, even though he's French.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of faggy shit about the French you can make fun of.
He made fun of his own nose before. Pepe has.
I mean, yeah, I have a big fucking. One of the things that I think is really, maybe I am biased, because one of the things that I went to Catholic school. I'm 0% Jewish by ancestry, that is. So obviously, I'm not Jewish by religion. But I have fucked up, coarse, curly hair, big ass fucking nose. And, people say, you look like a fucking Jew. You have a Jew nose. And it's like, I don't get it. Why are you guys giving me so much hate when I have nothing to do with these fucking people? But you guys, you people actually, I mean, I don't know. I mean, should I be angry at you guys? What did you guys do to make everybody think my nose and my hair is so annoying and bad?
I don't know. I think it must be the fact that you must have been raped by your teachers because you're Catholic. That must be what it is. All this stuff must be pent up rage from that. That must be.
But in Catholic school, they have priests have way lower levels of rape and trauma.
Wait, why are you being defensive? I'm just making a joke. I'm just making a joke.
But it wasn't funny.
You're trying to turn it around because you're like, obviously, look at this fucking Catholic. I'm going to insult the Catholics. He's not even.
No, you're so silly. I'm making the point. That is what Pepe does. I don't actually believe it when I say.
No, I see the similarities. Oh my god.
You're getting.
But why are you being such a sensitive, whiny Jew? That's the thing. It's like the Jews I grew up with were not like whiny little bitches, but I do see on this app, for whatever reason, some of the whiniest, girliest fucking. And when I say girliest, I mean, in other words, they're just like, you can't see that. It's just so like, it's almost like, I think there's like this natural instinct that most people have. It's like when you make that noise, like it's like a dog when he's fighting on a chew toy. He just wants to fucking fight a person.
The election is Tuesday, February 23rd. Kitover, your information population libertarian candidate.
And then what is
First,
also going
users
through
make sure
it's
freedom
rent.
of focus on.
We're having a
All right, you go to bed, bro.
Chicago, our mayoral election is coming up.
It's
Tuesday,
middle of the
February
day,
2027. I'm John Kitover, and I'm running as your libertarian candidate
So,
for
Pepe,
mayor.
I have to say,
Taxes and
I have to tell you that
Chicago, our mayoral election is coming up.
like
Tuesday, February
continue from last night.
I'm John
You
Kitover.
don't hear me.
Let's not.
He doesn't hear me talking. He just
But you say stupid
That's
shit.
all you do is talk.
like the guy doesn't hear me talking.
Okay, just let him go. Let him say stupid shit.
I
then we'll let
don't hear me talking.
Then we'll let Stump go. All right. You go ahead and talk, and then we'll let Stump go. Go ahead, say your stupid shit.
2027. I'm John Kitover.
You don't hear me talking.
John Kitover, and I'm running for mayor of
Actually,
Chicago.
now we'll stop talking.
Our city deserves leadership that respects your
Stop
freedom.
Sam, shut the fuck up.
Reliable service and responsible
Stop
spending.
talking.
The election is Tuesday, February 23rd.
I'm not done.
I'm John Kitover, and
It's
I'm
like
running for mayor of Chicago as your libertarian candidate.
Everybody's
Our
having a
city
good
deserves
time.
leadership that respects
It's
your
not
freedom.
like good time.
Safe streets, reliable
Retard.
service and responsible
Like
spending.
15, 16
Tuesday,
hours
February
died.
23rd. John Kitover,
Shut
and
the
I'm
fuck
running
up.
for mayor of Chicago as your libertarian
Well,
candidate.
not that
Fuck
Our
like.
city deserves leadership that respects your freedom and focuses on
Don't
safe
go
streets,
for
reliable
it.
service and responsible spending.
Pepe's just
The election is
pissed
Tuesday,
off
February
that
23rd.
Israel and people around him are, have more influence than he does, and there's nothing he can do
That
about
has
it.
literally nothing to do with this. This is the shittiest goddamn
It
argument.
literally has nothing to do with it. He's trying to become Gypsy Crusader.
I know, it's so fucking cringe. Wait, is this what's his face, BB? No.
Who?
No, actually, no, BB's not that gay. Never mind.
Who the
Mark.
fuck? Who are you talking to, Mark or me?
You.
This is not PP.
Me? Faggot? Really?
No, not you. I'm saying Mike
Oh.
was Mark BB.
You were
But
saying
then I was like, no, BB's not that smart, but he's also not nearly as gay.
BB's a fucking
I want to hear about that poll at some point, Pepe, that you posted, the 40 and under.
Sure, I'll post it, but I want to hear what's I like Stump, and so
Yeah.
I'm curious what he has to say.
So I think that, the worst
McHale's a
optics,
faggot.
the worst optics that we have are that we've got Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff as, kind of assigned diplomats, if you will, unofficial diplomats, who clearly have a bias, and that looks terrible, right? Now, I think two things can be true. One, it can be escape for Netanyahu to kind of, push move the ball down the field, but it can also be a good thing for the world to kind of take on the war on terror. So I think two things can be true, but I think, having these influential, highly affluent American Jews pushing the diplomacy is like, I can see how that's going to backfire ultimately, and it's just going to give us, it's going to look like a grift of unprecedented proportions. So I think it's unfortunate. I think that's far more of a problem than Netanyahu, because of course he has a legitimate interest in protecting his nation, and also at the same time escaping any legal issues.
And that's a funny thing is that I don't know if it was in the New York Times article that came out a few days ago, but so what the insiders were saying that one of the things Netanyahu wanted to talk about the most with Trump is like his legal issues in Israel, and I have no idea why. It could be it has nothing to do with his legal issues. I don't know. Like this whole thing with Iran, but I'm somebody who thinks the IRGC, they're absolutely horrible people. I don't. There's nothing good to say about them. They are a net negative in this world. But then the question ultimately would be like, okay, so what are we going to do? Are they worth going to war with? I don't think most American. Well, in fact, I know most Americans don't think they're worth going to war with. I would say, like, if he could have done a Venezuelan type of strike, which obviously it's a way different scenario with Iran. If you could have like no casualties, it was just like you just got rid of them, the people could end up revolting, overthrowing the IRGC. We would all agree that, yeah, like that was 100% worth it. With this, I don't know. I don't see a regime being changed. And one of the biggest problems I have with this, and I think a lot of people with my point of view, is that, okay, so just like all of the other actions we've taken with Iran, they just keep on going. We can't put them down. And all right, so how is this worth it? If you basically have this regime still in power.
They're not going to still be in power. And remember, Iran hasn't just attacked Israel. They've had, militias in Iraq that they've supported, militias in Jordan. They got the Houthis in Yemen. They've attacked Americans. The Houthis were pirating American stuff. It's the friggin' Iranian hostage crisis from the early 80s. That seems like it's half a century ago, but it's the same friggin' regime. That's how long they've been in power. It's the same people.
Yeah, but we know they're bad. That part's unquestioned. And
so then why are you saying there's no interest of America in getting...
Sure. So, okay, we don't have the large number of troops in Iraq anymore. That is when they were causing, at least in the last decade, any real deaths to Americans was when they were rocketing the bases in Iraq. And like that's because we're largely out of Iraq, not completely. That's not really a threat we put up with anymore. And so were they a threat to the United States at this time? No. But who were they a threat to? Obviously, what is the one country they can reach? They have to send a bunch of shitty rockets and drones, but they can still get a couple through and cause some damage and maybe a couple of lives. It's Israel, not us. And so
a simple Google search says that in 2024, there are over 180 separate attacks from Iranians towards American-led targets. 180.
How many
That's
people
not
died?
two. I don't know. Count them. If you want to count them, that's fine. But to suggest that Iran, that America has no interest in defending against a country that attacked them 180 times in the course of 24 months and recently, it's just insane. The fact that not many people died, that's like saying, Israel shouldn't defend against Iran.
I don't know what they're defining as an attack. What are they defining as an attack?
What are they defining as an attack?
They're talking about the 9-day or 12-day whatever bullshit war. So they're counting the majority of those strikes.
I'm just going to be very blunt, and this is where even Richard Nixon would get into this, is like Zionists would see as an affront to them when they would try to negotiate with, like, for example, the Egyptians. They want to normalize relations with them, and they would say, like, whoa, you're our ally, and they were completely against it. But do you not think, I'm being, in all sincerity, do you not think that today, at least, the primary reason why Iran hates us is because we support Israel? Even what the fuck is his name? It was Osama bin Laden. Even he listed that it was a 1996 television interview that he was declaring a fatwa against the United States because of our support for Israel. That was his number one reason. I think it was either number one or number two in his little manifesto. But our relationship with Israel brings us a lot of this fucking drama and hatred because they hate you guys.
Well,
and so
last year, an Iranian national was charged by the U.S. Department of Justice, not Israelis, the U.S. Department of Justice for an assassination attempt on our president. That didn't work. It didn't work.
Mark, try to understand what he's saying. He's saying, in a parallel universe, the state of Israel never...
Nigga, shut the fuck up, you stupid dumb bitch. You dumb bitch. You remember that you're a dumb bitch. Yeah, ugly ass nigga.
Shut up.
Yeah, you ugly.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking faggot. God damn fucking Haitians or Jamaicans, whatever the fuck he is. No, so get back to what I'm saying. Like in a parallel universe, if Israel never existed, we wouldn't have any conflicts. We wouldn't have any engagement with all those countries in the Middle East.
Bingo.
So I think you have it backwards though. Here's
The only reason we're fighting in Afghanistan or fucking Iran is because of Israel. I'm a Jew myself. I support the state of Israel, but I can at least be intellectually honest. And I don't have a problem with us fucking shilling out and fucking going and fighting for Israel. I don't fucking care. I don't give a fuck.
This is why I get so annoyed with the Zionists.
Israel, and I support the Jews. I am a Zionist. I believe that we have the right to exist in our fucking
This is why I get so annoyed with Zionists, is they want us to believe in all of their lives.
They're bombing the living fucking shit out of all those goat-herding fuckers. Goat fucking herders. And blow them off the face of the fucking earth.
Yes, so I would say this. This is where this is what annoys me the most about the Zionists, is that I'm somebody, it's like, I would guess you say I would describe myself as no, I was making a point. You missed the point. Hold on a second.
Sand niggers, call them niggers.
Yeah, so you missed the point. I called blacks niggers. I called Muslims everything from diaper heads to making fun of Muhammad, calling him amazing. Yes. Yeah. In other words, and so like when you say kike, it's just like, oh my god. Like no, actually, asshole. If you like to like,
election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran and longtime. Chicago's mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran and longtime. Chicago's mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran and longtime. Chicago's mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran and longtime. Chicago's mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran.
The force. Israel is like an oasis of Chicago is your libertarian candidate. Our state is that align with America versus the rest of the
mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John Kitover, a U.S. military veteran and longtime. Chicago's mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate John.
Why do you ask?
Chicago, our mayoral election is coming up Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. I'm John Kitover, and I'm running as a Libertarian candidate for mayor. I believe in safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and a city government that works. Chicago, our mayoral election is coming up Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. I'm John Kitover, and leadership that respects your freedom.
That I think we can.
Oh my god, I wouldn't go that far.
And you're like, okay, at least you're being honest, because that's my fucking position. If you take that position, I think
That's not my position. Sorry.
Liberal, cucky, fucking Jews.
Here's the thing.
But Mark, why do I care? Here's the problem with Muslims is that these are people that seem to be allergic to democracy. And I would say, well, okay, if that's the case, well, you have, it seems like you can maybe have some kings that can run their country okay. Like they literally, I think that their ideology prefers something like a fucking kingdom. And they just, democracy is so foreign. Do I think we should spend much time and resources introducing it to them? Not really.
Right, but here's the thing. Iran, Iraq, North Korea even, which I realize is not in that region, but a lot of these countries that you kind of want to leave alone and let's abandon Israel, those guys have a direct relationship
good job back to every block.
with Russia, with countries that we do have adversarial relationships with, and Israel is
Chicago. I'm John Kitover. I'm running for the mayor.
No. Once again, biggest disingenuous talking point.
No, it's not.
you guys were a buffer during when the Soviet Union was in existence. After that, you guys are not a buffer. In fact, you guys are the main antagonists of every fucking neighbor that lives around you. Well, I understand you're American, but I would say that lives around the Israelis. So things changed there, and I would say, if anything, what
that's a gunpowder Irish gin cocktail for St. Patrick's Day. I thought I'd get a head
Iran
start.
does serve as a buffer, for sure.
The most dangerous.
Iran has provided thousands of drones to Russia during the Russian
Chicago, our mayoral election is coming up Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027.
So
I'm John Kitover,
Iran
and I'm
is
literally
literally directly providing
Mayoral election is set for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2027. One of the names on the ballot is Libertarian candidate.
I'm not saying you are, but you're saying there's an irrelevancy and that there's no American interest in Iran going
No,
away.
there's a primary Israel interest.
There's Israeli interest as well, but to suggest
No,
that it's
primarily
so one-sided.
Israeli interest. Okay, then why did Marco Rubio and Speaker Johnson and even
not going to have an experience, and some people need to be okay with that.
Never give up, man. Never fucking give up. Never give up.
Give me the sign of the open night, a riddle of shadows where whispers lie.